The Johnson family had been waiting for weeks for this day. The house was buzzing with excitement, yet beneath that excitement, there was also tension and unspoken nervousness. Today, they were finally bringing home their new dog. Not just any dog, but a German Shepherd, strong, imposing, intelligent, and loyal. Mr. Johnson held the leash tightly in his hand as the dog stepped into the living room for the very first time. His sleek black antan coat glistened under the warm glow of the lamps, his dark eyes scanning the space carefully. Every muscle in his body seemed alert, every step deliberate. The Johnsons exchanged hopeful smiles, but deep down, both parents wondered how would this powerful animal react to their 3-year-old daughter, Emily. Emily had been bouncing with excitement since morning. The moment she laid eyes on the shepherd, her face lit up brighter than the sun. "Puppy," she squealed, clapping her tiny hands, ready to run straight into his fur. But Mrs. Johnson gently caught her arm, caution in her voice. "Easy, sweetheart, let him settle first." Emily pouted but didn't take her eyes off him. Her little chest rose and fell quickly with anticipation. To her, this was pure joy. To her parents, it was uncertainty. The German Shepherd paused in the center of the room. His ears twitched. His tail gave one uncertain flick before falling still again. His gaze then shifted straight onto Emily. The world seemed to freeze. Her innocence, her small hands reaching out, her soft voice calling, "Come here, puppy." It was a moment that should have been heartwarming, but instead, it was terrifying. Because the shepherd stiffened, his entire frame locked, chest expanding, eyes narrowing, a low rumbling growl slipped from his throat. Mrs. Johnson gasped. "Pull him back," she whispered frantically. Her pulse raced, her heart hammering with fear. But Mr. Johnson hesitated. Something about the dog's stare made him hold on. Frozen between fear and curiosity, Emily, however, didn't flinch. Her tiny hands stayed stretched forward. She crouched lower, her trusting eyes fixed on the animal towering above her. The shepherd's head tilted, as if he were studying her. Seconds dragged by like hours. The parents' nerves cracked under the silence, every muscle in their bodies ready to lunge forward if he attacked. Then, without warning, the German Shepherd surged forward. Emily squealed in surprise as his massive frame closed the distance. Mrs. Johnson screamed. Mr. Johnson pulled hard on the leash, bracing for the worst. But instead of snapping his jaws or knocking the child down, the shepherd pressed his nose gently against Emily's outstretched hands. Then, slowly, astonishingly, he lowered himself onto the floor, bowing flat before her. His tail thumped softly against the wood. His eyes softened. The Johnsons froze, unable to process what they were seeing. "He's submitting to her," Mr. Johnson whispered, disbelief flooding his voice. Emily giggled, her tiny fingers brushing through his thick fur. The dog responded by licking her cheek, sealing a bond that seemed almost magical. Relief swept over the room like a tidal wave. The family exchanged shaky smiles, though their hearts were still pounding. Emily wrapped her arms around the shepherd's neck, squealing in pure joy. But just as peace returned, the shepherd's demeanor changed again. His body stiffened, his ears pricked high, his tail froze mid. A sharp, sudden bark exploded from his chest, echoing through the yard. It wasn't playful, it was urgent. Emily jumped at the sound, clutching her teddy bear. The shepherd circled her quickly, positioning his body between her and something unseen. His growls deepened, sharp, commanding, protective. "What's wrong with him now?" Mrs. Johnson cried, panic flashing in her eyes. Mr. Johnson tugged the leash, his voice tense. "He's unpredictable. Maybe we can't trust him after all." But no matter how much force he used, the shepherd would not budge. His focus was unshakable, his body rigid, his teeth flashing as he stared at the edge of the yard. His warning bark echoed again, even louder. The parents turned their gaze toward the hedges. At first, there was nothing, only shadows, only silence. Then the bushes rustled, and slithering into view, came the truth. A snake, long, black, menacing. Its tongue flickered as its body coiled, its head raised. Eyes locked on Emily. Mrs. Johnson screamed, yanking Emily backward. But before she could take another step, the shepherd lunged. His growls erupted into a roar of defiance. He threw his body in front of the girl, shielding her completely. The snake hissed, recoiling at the sudden force of the German shepherd's charge. It slithered back toward the bushes, retreating under the sheer power of his presence. Only when the reptile had vanished completely did the shepherd stop. His chest rose and fell in heavy breaths. His eyes, still burning with vigilance, slowly softened as he turned back toward Emily. The little girl, wide-eyed but unharmed, whispered in her tiny voice, "He saved me." Then she buried her face in his fur, hugging him tightly. Tears welled in Mrs. Johnson's eyes. She knelt down, holding her daughter close. He wasn't attacking, she whispered, voice breaking. He was protecting her, all along. Mr. Johnson crouched beside them, finally releasing the leash. He reached out to stroke the shepherd's head, his voice trembling with gratitude. "You're not just a pet," he said softly. "You're family." The dog leaned into his touch, his tail wagging slowly, proudly. From that day on, fear melted away, replaced by awe. The Johnsons realized they hadn't just adopted a dog, they had welcomed a guardian, a protector, a silent hero who had risked everything to keep their daughter safe. And in Emily's little heart, the German Shepherd wasn't just the new dog. He was her savior, her best friend, her guardian angel with fur.